Alright. Welcome, I'm Spaghetti King. I can hear it in your
Sorry,
background there. I can hear it in your
I'm
background.
listening. I'm listening to it on my fucking what's it called? Speaker,
Oh, yeah,
my
yeah.
TV speaker, because
Yeah.
I have my headset plugged into this, so you can actually pick up my audio
Yeah.
better.
And I would be singing this, but I actually can't sing this. Maybe later. It's a good opening, but nah.
Hello, I am. This is the Spaghetti of Kings. He's the king of spaghetti. He's hype. He makes hype ass ASMR reviews. Watched him.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I could say something about
And
Death Note.
I am Dardicus of Arc. I also stream fucking SoCal content. Twitch.tv, the Death Knight, minus a T at the end.
And
But, you know.
I still don't really stream, but maybe I will. I'll find some way to make ASMR content out of it.
ASMR videos will what's it called? Playing Melee in the background.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if I can get some good way of recording Melee, then I can bring that series back. The OGs only remember that. That's like so old. Ranting whilst playing Melee, but it could be done again.
Well, you just need an Elgato card.
I mean, if
or
I
a
could,
capture card.
yeah, if I could record, then I'd probably like be able to spam content like that too. But I already do quite a bit, so. And now we get the Shinigami realm, which was kind of unexplored. This could have really been done better. And you only get like a couple clips of it. It's kind of like decent, but eh. There are better.
Yeah.
They just play cards forever. They're just sitting around the demon realm, bored forever.
Yeah.
I do like how basically they're just demons and they're just infinitely bored. So.
Yeah. And then we get introduced to our protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Love this introduction. It's great.
I didn't even remember that he mentioned God in this little thing here. Makes sense, because that's what he will want to become. I usually forget how good this little intro is here. Yeah, well, it's just basically giving you, like, the themes right for you from the beginning. It's just easing you into it. Oh yeah, God theme. Oh yeah, regular murders theme. Not like Japan is some, like, hellhole of crime.
Talking about criminals.
Mm.
And how many people are dying because of it.
I just find this so funny. It's like day in, day out, the world's boring and you have a bunch of people murdering each other. Why must life suck?
Yep.
And the titles are still in kanji. The dub of this is quite faithful to the Japanese, actually. Like, they'll just literally say, oh yeah, this was what this meant in kanji. And they won't change the kanji to, like, English. Which I like. I like. They basically try and keep it as faithful as you possibly can be to the Japanese.
And we get the Death Note falling out of the sky. Classic scene.
And it just falls. No, it's a very humble intro, and early Death Note is very humble and very, like, local and that kind of energy, and I love that. Oh, this OST. Death Note OST is stupendous, I'll say that. Like, I remember, of course, Death Note is very infamous for, like, the 2010 Code Geass versus Death Note debates. I will say this, I think Death Note has better OST. I like Code Geass better, but I like the Death Note OST more.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. I was about to say, are you gonna say Death Note's better than Code Geass?
No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not one of those people. No, late Death Note is kind of not poopy, but it's
Cause
flawed.
like Code Geass, like they do so much fucking chest foreshadowing with shit. But there's plenty of YouTube videos that cover that, so I won't get into that.
Well, Death Note lacks foreshadowing in a lot of ways, but that's what's enjoyable about it early on is it's very like pace by pace. You have so many things going on that are just all these small little details that they paid attention to, which you would have to pay attention to if you were actually trying to do what Light does, and I love that. Early Death Note is so high IQ, it's just wonderful.
Very high IQ series.
Mm. And sadly, that doesn't last forever. Uh, yeah, like early Death Note is like masterful. I'll say this.
I hope
Yeah.
they adapt the next because if you've heard, they've actually what's it called? They made like another like Death Note manga season, kind of. They gave Trump the Death Note, which is hype.
No, that's the most beautiful thing that has ever come to manga, honestly. Anything in Berserk, whatever, One Piece, like Trump with the Death Note is, I think, the greatest idea that has ever been crafted. Still, I don't think there's anything better. Okay, this is beautiful. I love he just pulls out the pen and he just points. Such swagger, man. Love that. And next episode we're gonna get the chip scene, and the dub embodies the chip scene.
I'm gonna take a potato chip and eat it.
Mm-hmm. That's what he's gonna do while murdering criminals. At least in the beginning. Kuro Otoharaga. Love that. They pronounce it too. Like I said, they're very on point with like making it Japanese themed because this is all like in Japan. Death Note is like almost all in Japan. Which is another aspect of where it's kind of like limited. Like Code Geass is a good example. People who like make all these comparisons because Code Geass is centered in Japan, but Code Geass does a much better job establishing like other areas of the world, like China and like Europe and whatnot.
Australia.
Yeah, like Death Note is basically all in Japan, and anything outside of that is like very limited. Which is okay, I guess, but Death Note should be like a worldwide thing.
Honestly, if they were gonna do a second, like a third season of Death Note,
Making Trump is like I said, making Trump is the perfect idea. With that, you make up for every little problem I said you had there, and it's like the most epic thing ever. Because Trump with the Death Note, beautiful, beautiful, perfect concept. And that's how you expand it. That's how you pull things above. And that's one good thing Death Note is very good at. Is Death Note is very good at not having a clear protagonist and antagonist. Like who is good and evil is very unclear, which is very good because you have people who side with L, you have people who side with Light. I'm an L boy myself. I'm on the side of L, but you can be on either side.
Well, yeah.
And it's not really clear who you should or shouldn't be. It just is what it is. I love that. I do love that. It just gets less precise as it goes. That's the sad thing. Death Note just doesn't. Well, as it goes. But maybe I should try killing this random school bully. No, but well, again, I do love this part where he's just testing and he's just experimenting, and it's just so chill. Light Yagami would never bully anyone, though. He's above that.
Yeah.
Well, it is funny, like, the kind of character Light is, because he's just, like, this, like, good-looking, just, like, very high IQ, well-behaved student. And that's what he is. I do
He's,
believe...
like, secretly, like, chaotic neutral, kind of.
Yeah, well, he just has his own idea of justice, and he's very arrogant, and he has, like, a god complex. It's pretty much like... It's pretty much just like, what if you had, like, a autistic psychopath who was, like, very arrogant? That's kind of what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's where we get the first kill, which, honestly, this first kill is deserved. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, these boys, these random degenerate criminals, and he just goes in and gives them, gives him the pen, gives him the move. Yeah, tasteless dude, kill him. Yeah, there you go. Run in by the truck, and first death, Spaghetti King approves. That guy deserved it. Sadly, not everyone
Yep.
does deserve it, but it's gonna go. So, well, it is what it is. Because in the end, he says he's only gonna kill criminals, but then he has to kill who tries to stop him as well. So it depends on really how you on what you think is deserved of the
A
criminal.
humans whose name in this note shall die. Edgy.
Well, it is Edge, but that's the good thing is they have rules. A lot of series do not have rules. Death Note is very clear on the rules, and if you talk to the fans, they're like very artistic about how every rule works, which is another reason why the Death Note fans died from the Netflix movie.
Sorry, what Netflix movie? I forgot it existed because it was so shit.
Oh, that's right. This is just Death Note, the original anime. Welcome back to 2007. There's no other adaptation.
No, but seriously, I don't get what the fuck the writers were doing for that. Like Netflix, you're making multi-billions, but you can't even afford like a decent fucking writing cast. Come on.
No. Well, it's the same thing with Disney. You have Star Wars, the like money machine, billionaire, whatever, and
Oh yeah, that mess that everyone hates. It's funny because people were shitting on the prequels like a year ago, or years ago, and now everyone's like, "Oh yeah, the new movies, they fucking suck."
The prequels have been redeemed for two reasons. The prequels have been redeemed because number one, the prequel memes are like the best. They're like the best memes in Star Wars. They're so great. And number two, the prequels are just simply better than the sequels. Okay. I like the prequels. I'm saying it. I know the millennials can't take it. They need to like kill me for that. They want my head for that. I don't care, millennials. The prequels are good, and they're not perfect, but they're good, and I like them. So that's how it is. The prequels have good theming. The sequels don't really have theming. Let's see. What was the theming of the sequels? The theming of the sequels was like the black man gets up with the Vietnamese woman, and the Force is female, and this is the themes of the sequels.
No, it was fucking. What was it? I can't even. No, I remember it. It was basically Luke Skywalker tried training Jedi, remaking the Jedi Order, and then one turned into like a Sith. It got taken into a Sith, and then the plot just. And then there's some random ass female on Tatooine suddenly gets like who literally just runs around with a lightsaber pretty much for the whole movies, stabbing people. Not even trained, by the way.
Well, the thing is, it's not on Tatooine. It's on Jakku. It's on a new planet. It just looks exactly the same as the original. I wonder why.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably good. They just took the New Hope script, changed a couple of the characters' names.
Seriously, I don't know how fucking. I guess it's just plot armor, but like realistically, right? Kylo Ren should have fucking just killed her in the first movie.
Yeah.
Because she's literally not trained.
And he should have killed the Black Guy too. And the Black Guy should not have been able to use a lightsaber. Like he literally just turned on a lightsaber without having any Force attunement whatsoever. Which, if you are
honestly, if they should have done anything, in my opinion, Disney, they should have adapted the comic books and give.
Well, we have.
What would have been?
Yeah, in the Star Wars comics, we had the entire story of Luke after the original trilogy. He becomes like the master of the new Jedi Order. He becomes the strongest Jedi ever, according to George Lucas. And there was this whole plot where you had like Jason Solo, who is like the son of Leia and Han in that version, not Kylo Ren. He becomes like a Sith, and there's like a Palpatine clone, although it's done good, not crap like the new one. And yeah, they should have just adapted the comics into like a new sequel trilogy, and they could have done that, and it would have been good, and they would have made money off of it. But no, they couldn't do that. They had to make the new version. And going back to Ryuk, I do love Ryuk because Death Note is kind of lacking in comedy for the most part. Ryuk is for the most part the only consistent comedy you get, and I do like that. And the man likes
Any
his,
human who used the Death Note.
and the man likes his
Oh, and he just
apples.
foreshadows basically. If you use the Death Note, you turn into a Shinigami.
Yeah, or you like die for all eternity or whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, there is the whole
Because
theory
you
that
have because
there is
the
the whole theory
Shinigami
that
is like the limbo realm.
well
Almost.
they do have the theory that Light became a Shinigami at the end of Death Note, but it doesn't really matter. Because like once Light is dead, then that's just it. It doesn't really matter if he became a Shinigami or if he didn't. I personally prefer if he didn't. Um, I think it's just better if Light just died simply. Like he didn't get any special treatment. I mean, if they put in like Light is like Trump's Shinigami or something, oh boy, then I would be like way too hyped at that. But
They just brought back Ryuk.
other than that, it's just Ryuk.
Yeah.
That's all right.
You should go read the manga on that. Actually,
I should because I just haven't read it. Is it just like a chapter?
It's like a couple chapters. It honestly isn't as long as the original Death Note.
A couple chapters. I thought it was just a one shot. I thought it was just one chapter. Ooh. Well, maybe I'll.
I forget. I haven't read it in a while. I read it when it came out, and then I kind of haven't.
Yeah. I just saw it when it came out, and I was like, yo, this is amazing, and then I just didn't do anything with it. Granted, at that time, I was watching, like, Evangelion or whatever, so I was kind of hyped about other stuff. Yeah, I do like how basically these are, like, demons who just kill, humans because that's just what their job is, but they're just like whatevs. They're not. They literally are just bored because this is all they do forever. And it's interesting because that's probably where you would come to if you just had to, like, write people's name in your Death Note forever, literally for all eternity. You just get bored.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. Already exhausted the world's major criminals. So he killed El Chapo day one. That's the one part.
Pretty much.
Which is interesting. Righteous judgment on the wicked.
You know what would have been something I wish they would have covered in Death Note? Like, because technically speaking, it would have been interesting if Light started to see governments as criminals.
Ooh, yes, that actually would have been very interesting. That was never on though. I mean, he killed certain policemen who tried to get him, but yeah, he did not target governments, at least directly. He targeted governments who were after him. But by the end of the series, I think half the governments in the world literally just accepted that Kira was there, and they were just fine with it. Yeah, halfway through the series, America gives up on trying to get Kira, which is pretty funny. America does not continue the hunt for Mr. Kira. The American government is pulling away from this case. We will let him just continue to kill whatever criminals he wants. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing Death Note didn't predict. Death Note did not predict Obama. The president in Death Note is just some random white dude. And thus the OST begins. I love this. Change the world, let's go, boys. I mean, hey, there's some things noble in it. I'm not completely against Kira, I'm just more so on Light's side. That's what, L's side. Because honestly, I basically approve of mass death penalty. Overall. You can get...
Well, I mean, I'm not opposed either of bringing back the death sentence. especially to people like pedophiles.
No, that is just an obvious. Like that is just go. Like any moral country should execute pedophiles. That should be done without doubt. But no, I mean like on a mass scale. Like England used to be 20 times more criminal than France in like the 900s. But England, along with like Northern Europe, like the Vikings and whatnot back then, once they became Christian, they introduced very strict laws on crimes. So they would like kill you for even like basic thievery and whatnot. And doing that over a period of around 600 years eventually made England and Norway and whatnot less criminal than France. And today, they're still less criminal than like France or Germany or Italy or whatever, largely due to those laws over a period of centuries. So that's an example of how mass strict death penalty can actually mitigate crimes very well, honestly. But Kira also kills like innocent people who are just trying to get him, and that just really is not just. But you'll defend that if you think that he has to do that to be able to kill other criminals, So I don't defend it, but some people do, and there's something to say on it.
No, we're at the second episode. At least I don't know if you are yet.
Yeah, I'm just at the ending, so I forgot this ending. This ending is alright. I do like this ending more than the...
It auto skips it for me. No, Netflix! Why you do this?
Alright. Okay.
Well, I'm 2 minutes into the new episode. I'll wait for you to catch up.
It'd be better if we just... is it skipping the opening for you, too?
Yeah, it skips the opening.
Okay, what time are you at, then?
I'm at 1 minute 30.
Alright. Okay. So let me just get to episode 2. Yeah, it orders it really weird on my tablet. It doesn't like put it in proper order. Okay, this is episode 2. Okay. So I'll just okay. So I'm at 130. So I'll count you in.
You're at the recap, right?
Yeah, just right there, 130 exactly. So alright. I'll count you in for that. So
3,
2, 1. Ooh.
Go.
And it just cuts to that young lass being taken in by these degenerate Japanese criminals. Tasteless
And
dudes.
then we also have Truck Kun isekai more people.
I do think that's the only time you get any reference to rape in all of Death Note, just right there. Which is good. I prefer, for you guys to have some class. But hey, this is where Light has benefit. He's passing righteous judgment on these kooks. He's going in there, And that girl could have been a virgin. Light could have just saved her virginity. And if he is, then I think God would approve, honestly. But, he's going in there. But there are limits. Yeah, in this episode we get the basic introduction of L, but I don't think we see him until the 3rd episode. Oh, you're not coming in there.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, yeah. You were like far away
I'm just
from
not talking. Sorry, I'm invested in Death Note.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Because I forgot how good it is.
It is! You'll forget! You'll forget when you haven't watched it in a while and you go back and then you're like, yo. Early Death Note is real good. I'll say
Death Note to me is like every time I watch Code Geass, right? Because you always see new shit. Each time you watch it.
No, that's true. I will say, I do like Code Geass more than Death Note, but if we're talking just pure early Death Note, like the first, 10, 13 episodes, something like that, I will say I like Death Note more, actually. Just for the height of Death Note. I think is better than Code Geass as a whole. Code Geass as a whole, though, is better than Death Note because Death Note drops quite a bit after like around halfway through. Ryuk is my dude, though. That's probably what I'd be doing in this situation too. I mean, if he can, dude, just chilling on apples daily. That's how it's going for me. I mean, that's what I do. I just have apples every day, apples all the time. I love my apples.
For me, oh yeah, by the way, IRL, fucking when apples grow up again, we'll get you a box, Gaiden.
All right, I'll be good.
Like last year.
Save me from buying a lot. Because, I literally get, like, apple withdrawal when I don't have my apples. Like, I run out of apples, then I'm going a couple days without them, and I'm like, ugh. Can't have my apples, dude. Ah, man.
You know what I feel like doing right now? Because I have it? I'm gonna crack open a coconut water.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there's Light Sister.
Light Sister.
Always kawaii, though. She's so kawaii? Seriously? I forgot back in the day, but seriously. Well, of course Ryuk plays. Ryuk just reveals rules as he goes, very calmly, which I love. Ryuk makes
52.
things dynamic. 52. Interesting. So the top criminals is like 52 of them? Interesting. Adrian Mutu from Spain, was that? Doesn't sound like it would be.
Well, I guess they're all like police people.
Yeah,
Or government officials.
Yeah, well, you wish the UN looked this epic, but sadly no. Oh, there's Israel in the background. Benayoun definitely sounds Jewish. Juan Carlos Escobar.
Escobar.
I'm just looking at these names. So, one guy from Venezuela, one guy from Colombia.
You wonder how they came up with those names, if they just used like a random name generator. Or just like Google searched.
Just like Colombian random names. Well, the fact that they put Escobar for a Colombian guy is really funny. That's kind of on the nose.
Well, yeah.
And they're just bringing in L. Those are kind of small ties, but that's how it is with the Japanese. They got a little different knot. They call it the Oriental knot. A little bit more... I wouldn't say thin, but the Japanese tend to wear thinner ties. Oh, all the white people have... All the white people have more proper ties like us, so... You see, he knew how to draw ties. He knew what was on. He knew where he was at. You see, I love these moments because this is where you actually get like the international stuff, and you just don't get that later in Death Note at all. It's like only in Japan. And I love this. Like L is like this like world acclaimed dude. He's like hunted down criminals in Africa or whatever. Pretty epic. Two Dutch guys in the background. Der Saad.
Yeah, you know what would have been epic as well? If they had like L solve the Zodiac killer case.
Oh, but that would have been incredible. They should have done that.
Honestly, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Well, technically, the funny thing about this technically is like L is basically the only white guy in Death Note. Everyone else is like Japanese. L. They actually have given L's like ethnicity specifically. He is a quarter English, an eighth French, an eighth Italian, a quarter Russian, and a quarter Japanese. That's what he is. But he was born in
Well,
England.
that's why I consider the fucking Death Note live action movie heretical.
Black L. Black L, white light.
Well, yeah, because it's literally like it's not even me being racist. It's just it literally goes against Death Note lore.
Uh-huh.
Like, what the fuck are Netflix thinking?
Well, no, honestly...
Like, why try and diversify something that literally goes against the series lore?
Well, by diversify, I mean diversify just means, like, make less white. They made it more white. That's the problem. Light isn't white. Light's a Japanese guy. Don't make him white. Don't make L black or whatever. Whatever. I mean, technically, if they're obsessed with that, L is like the only white guy around. They don't need to worry about that, but they did anyway. I mean, granted, probably it's because they didn't even know that. I would not be surprised if the people who made the Death Note live action didn't even know that, like, Light was Japanese and all these characters were Japanese.
They didn't even watch Death Note.
I wouldn't be surprised. Because I can't blame them for not thinking that they're Japanese, because they don't really look Japanese, you know? Like, Light is running around with his, like, brown hair, and then you have, like, Misa, who has, like, blonde hair. Like, they look pretty white, I'll say it. But a lot of anime characters do.
Well, yeah. Well, you know why that is. I don't have to explain that. It's because Japan loves whites as a culture.
They do! I mean, you look at all their fashion magazines, and all the women on them are, like, white women. And look, I'm just not going to question it. They have a love for us, and we have a love for them too. We have this kind of like distant respect, and you know, unlike the Chinamen, unlike the Koreans, you know, they just admit where they know to go right. You know, they're a fan of us, and I'm a fan of them, and you know, it's just very nice. It's very nice to have you know, some people who aren't out there with their, like, you were racist in the past, you colonized, whatnot, meh, I hate white people. And instead, they're just like, hey, you know, you got these cool guys overseas, you know.
Well, that's what you call racism bias.
Yeah, well, that's what it is, you know. It's just that the way things are supposed to be now is they're brown, we're white, and we're at fault and blame for being white, so we basically can't question it. That's how it goes. But no, the Japanese, they just respect us on honest terms, and there's no beef. You know, we nuked them in World War II.
Oh, yes, and we also have the high IQ.
Yeah, this is funny. This is actually funny. I laughed the first time I saw this, but it is actually, like, cool. But the funny thing is, like, again, these small little details that are in Death Note, they didn't need to do this. Like, this is not a scene that needs to exist necessarily, where he says how he hides his diary and he has, like, an oil fuse in his desk that will go off if you open it or whatever. But they do it anyway just to give you the context, just to set up for you the kind of intensity and the kind of strategy that is in Death Note and is going on there. I love that stuff. Which is good, because Light is high IQ. The moment he starts using the Death Note, he knows the immediate consequences that it will bring. So he's prepared from day one. Which I love that. Oh, man. So good, dude. So good, dude. Humble origins, dude.
Yeah.
Naoki Tokoyama. 15 years, well. Not a life sentence, but Light kills anyway. That was like a guy. That was like a guy's voice, but it looked totally like a girl. Homeless Japanese dude. Smooching in the alley. That's what you see in cities. Thankfully, I'm not in the city.
Yep.
Well, at least they were smooching in the alley, because in Japan, if you sometimes just smooch in front of people, they can be a little bit uncomfortable about that. Which is good. Respectable.
Well, Japan's like such a weird country.
Yeah, it's weird.
Even in real life.
It's weird and mannerly, as they say, the country of extremes. But that's, their
Well, it's
interest.
also the country of vending machines because they have like in every type of vending machine. They have vending machines that literally serve pizza and shit like that. Why don't we have that in North America? Seriously, someone from Japan, port that shit over.
If only, The Asians are all flooding into our country, but they're not bringing the epic stuff with them, Why not? Bring your vending machines with you. I want to see them.
Bro, bring the fucking Japanese arcades.
Yeah.
Low key.
But the arcades are
Like
gone. I mean, hey.
the rhythm games.
I mean, hey,
No, I know in Vancouver there's a couple arcades. I went down there more than once because I got bored.
yeah. But it's like nothing compared to Japan. You can go to like a small town, baby town in Japan, and they'll have an arcade there. But
I wonder if you were to set up an arcade here, like how well it would do. I guess it would depend on like location.
over here, it probably would fail because the majority of people in this town are like 55 and over. This town is like really old.
I mean, if you put it like if you built like another building, put it like where the old 7-Eleven was, you could probably make bank, honestly.
I think you could do it, but you would need to be like really cheap about it. And the problem with like a lot of things like that, like there used to be that place like Play and Trade, that like video game selling thing here. And that had to close down just because they had to just be cheap with what they sold. They were a great place. You could go in, trade games, bring them in, order them from other places, whatnot. They had all kinds of like old stuff too. It was a great place, but to keep in business, they had to sell cheaper than their games actually were, and as a cost of that, they ended up dying, which was sad. But a
Well,
lot of
I'm thinking right because like quarters,
mm-hmm.
you could go super retro with it, and then pretty much just like also smell like snacks and shit on the side. And I guarantee you'd get like, because the thing about it is you have to think of like, where is it most convenient for your customers?
Mm-hmm.
That would be like probably the most convenient place.
Yeah, I would say so. That's a good place for it. I like Lind L. Taylor, by the way. If that was L's actual name, it'd be really funny because it's like a really like basic like white name. Any name with like Taylor in it, that's a fun one. But what was I saying? Oh, psh. Oh, psh, 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 psh. I'm forgetting.
Oh, and we get one of L's most high IQ decisions in the series.
This is so funny. I love this scene so much. I am Justice, the god of a new world. He's here, dude. The funny thing is, this is where Light shows his arrogance and the fact that he's still a kid. Light's like 17. That's one thing people have to keep in mind. Seriously. But literally, L mocks him, and Light just goes to kill him, like right there. That shows, what is Light's character. But this is just the high IQ play by L.
He also does it in like big lettering, if you notice. Just has like an extra "fuck you."
Well, I do love. Well, the thing is, like L, like number one, this guy Lind L. Taylor, because that is his name, because he dies here. Number one, a lot of balls on this man. I salute this man, Lind L. Taylor. Went out just for a bet on L. Seriously, good job, Lind L. Taylor. But besides that, the fact that L just put that dude out to bait Light, such a high IQ play, and I love that dude. Love that setup. I love this. I love his face here. He's just so shocked. It's beautiful. L, my dude. My dude, L. Love the man. In fact, actually, right here, I got a hat here. That's got an L on it. Ah, man. I don't know why it has an L on it, but it does. And it's got it because L is here. My man is here. All Light has is the internet, which is kind of epic. Dude using his just internet Google searching to just kill all the criminals he finds. Kind of epic. And L just plays. This is what I love about L, is the dude just goes out. The dude's got balls. He just goes. Love it, dude.
Well, he likes to play with, like, people just to play along, mess with them.
Yeah, that's the difference between L and Nier. Nier is all reclused and he
Serious.
won't go out there. You know, Nier and Light don't even meet until the very end. But the moment L suspects that Light is Kira, he just goes and meets him. He's like, yo, how you doing, man? I love that, dude.
You can't do shit, basically.
The Kanto region of Japan, which is basically like the largest metro area in Tokyo. It's got around 39 million people in it, so that entire place has more people than all of Canada, which is difficult to comprehend, but that's just how Japan is. For now, anyway. You're Japan. The epic Anglo call-out. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're looking for anywhere in Japan, then that's what you do. That's basically like broadcasting in New York City. Love that setup. Although, they never even suggest the idea of once of Light leaving Japan. Like, they don't even, like, leave it as a potential option. Even after L dies, and it's like a 6-year time skip, which is really weird because it doesn't feel like a 6-year time skip, but it technically is. The dude's still just in the same place. Okay, we're gonna get the laugh here. I'm gonna wait. Well, we already got the laugh, but and this is the setup. One of the best setups in manga, and you know, it kind of just goes half-baked. But man, the setup is good. Here we go, dude. We'll eliminate you. Justice. That's right, boy. That's right, boy. On the side of my boy L. On the side of my boy L.
Justice.
On the side of my boy.
Alright, where's my... And then we get the ending.
Mm-hmm, get the ending. The ending is interesting. I didn't really remember it. Yeah, the opening and ending of this are good, but there have been better.
S tier.
Okay.
No Netflix, I will not be skipping the opening this time. I like this opening.
Alright.
Unless you're skipping opening.
No, I'm keeping it. I'm on episode 3, 0 seconds.
Well, I'm like 2 seconds behind you. 2 to 3 seconds behind you.
I'm on 0 seconds, though.
Well, I'm at 15 seconds. Oof.
I'm not playing it yet. We're counting it in. So I was just counted in, so I know in editing where to start it. You know, because I don't know exactly where you are. I want to make sure as much that
I'm at 0-0 right now.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that our commentary is on like the same pace. You know. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome back to Death Note with the... Wow. I do like how you have the... This opening is full of, like, Christian references, which Death Note is a lot. Because Light views himself as a bit of a Jesus figure. So literally, you have Ryuk and Light in the beginning, like pointing to each other in the Adam created by God image, but he's holding like an apple, which is kind of funny. I mean, like I like the apple symbolism because I love apples, but also apples are like simultaneously the fruit that represents intelligence and also just life and kind of like survival because it's red. That's why you have like the whole school has like the apple image thing. It's kind of like whatever though. Okay, I'm
And
kind of
then you get
hyped.
to
I'm
the
kind of
epic
hyped now.
hallway scene.
I'm kind of hyped now, dude. I think next time I'm gonna like learn to sing this opening just because it's hype. I'm kind of hyped now, dude. Pita yaku,
And then you get the epic uh epic like almost Christian artwork at the end.
Yeah. Well, he does the open palm thing, and that is traditionally like a sign of like innocence, basically. And like it's even like in Hunter x Hunter, it's actually done by Pito when Gon gets like really mad. Pito literally like goes on her knees with like the palms open, and that is basically a sign of like proclaiming innocence. So and peace, because showing your palms is showing that you're soft and not aggressive, whereas showing the back of your hand is hiding yourself. Justice. Well, my boy. So whose side are you on? Are you on Team Kira or Team L?
Hmm.
You never
I don't
decided?
know. That's yeah. I kind of. I don't really have a preference.
Alright. I understand that because it depends. Like I said, there are some things that Light is doing that are defensible. In fact, I think everything Light does, other than killing people who hunt him down, is defensible. Myself. Well, other than the fact that he proclaims himself to be God, I'm not really a fan of that. But yeah, in terms of like the actions, I think for the most part, Light is actually defensible. Which is not what L thinks, actually. L thinks, if you read like the Death Note expanded guides and whatnot, they actually say that L thinks Kira is completely evil. Absolutely. And it's debatable. But I side with L more than I do Light, so. Between 6 and 12, between 8 and 12 p.m. Which is funny that they get like a school schedule out of like when he kills people. I find that funny, but that is how it goes.
Me even aspire to be some sort of godlike teacher.
Which
Just like
L picks
instantly
that up
says
just from that. He picks that up just from two things. Number one, he's arrogant, and number two, he's only killing criminals because he thinks he's righteous. And then L goes to that leap just from there. But he's right, And that's going on instinct too. But he has evidence to back it, but it's still quite the jump. Yamatsu. Well, it is pretty realistic that you have the boys at the police. Eventually, it just goes down to just a group of like small, dedicated dudes who just want to get Kira. In the end, it was done for two reasons. Because it was done because number one, they wanted to limit the characters so you can actually develop them. Because if there was like 30 of them, then they're gonna just be jobbers. But number two, it's basically like a lot of people in the end accept Kira. A lot of people do. They just kind of accept living with him because like regular people are not dying from Kira. Only like criminals are, for the most part, unless you hunt Kira. So it's pretty much like, leave me alone and no one bad has to die, and that's how it goes. That's kind of like everything he's trying to say is like, just leave me alone and everything will be good. And, technically, if, it was called that, oh, okay, well, we're all just going to stop hunting Kira, then I don't know. Maybe some people would say in that case, then you get the ideal world of Kira and whatnot. But
Well, yeah, because you just have Kira in the background killing off criminals.
And then I guess through eugenics, crime would just be like heavily reduced. So I don't know. Maybe he could actually make the world a better place, but not really. No, it doesn't really work like that because you always get rogue genes coming out anyway. No one really talks about that angle, though. No one really talks about the genetic effect of just killing that many criminals would be, though. Because it is significant. You kill all the criminals, and then they can't pass on their genes, so everyone, by proxy, becomes less criminal. But you can't really solve everything.
That would almost be like, technically, like a form of ethnic cleansing.
Ah, so kawaii. I didn't even, honestly, she's just so kawaii. I don't even, seriously, dude. It's funny, because I didn't used to think that back in the day, but she just is. And, later you get the whole time skip thing and she, grows up. And, I don't know. I prefer young her. She's all kawaii. It's all wholesome, dude. Wholesome mate, because this series is pretty lacking in the wholesome department. Really, the only humor in this series is L and Ryuk.
Yeah.
What is this guy's name? I'm trying to remember his name. I'm just calling him Daddy. I'm just calling him Light's daddy. But I don't remember his name. They're not calling him by his name. They tend to just call him Chief or whatever, otherwise I can't remember his name. Ooh, there's that 2007 Windows. Pretty beautiful. Kira is... Are you there? I'm kind of not picking you up.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, if I quit talking, it's just because I'm paying attention to Death Note.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to just keep talking, It's hard to just commentate anime on your own. It's better when you have another person, but, That's why I plan on having more. But apparently the mates are so busy today, aren't they? I'm pretty busy myself. I uploaded 3 videos today, okay, guys? But, whatever. Oh, man. That's how it goes. Light playing soccer. I don't think we ever actually get to see Light's physique, ever. So I'm not sure if Light's ripped or not, but I'm pretty sure he isn't ripped, which is good. No, you never see the Light physique. You see him playing sports on occasion. I love that clip of that guy just ripping his shirt off or whatever. That's funny. So now he just writes all the names in advance and then they just die preemptively. And L just says, clearly he adapted, which is obvious. Light knows... Ugh, I keep saying Light instead of L. L knows that Kira is high IQ. Mm-hmm. Kill from a distance, determine the time of death, and eventually determine the method of death, which he will show. As of right now, they're still all heart attacks, though. I like how he just has his like little like beatbox thing there that he's like talking with them on. I love how he's just in some room lying down, but this is definitely what an L room would look like. Because he always lays like that. Even in a chair he does. Mm. I love the L hype. I'm just taking this. No, there's a lot of like dialogue here. I'm just trying to take it in. You have to keep in mind every step, especially when you're following along. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not like a Death Note tard because I know there are people who like remember like everything that goes on, every little event. I'm just not really that type. You know. Are you there?
Yeah.
I think you're just not talking close enough to your mic or something because you're kind of coming in like real quiet.
Hi.
Hmm. Well, he tries to turn L against the police, which L counters by basically only getting the most dedicated police to come with him who actually want to hunt Kira. Because otherwise, it's true that if they suspect L, then they're just going to be looking into L, not Kira, and just wasting his time, basically. But, as you expect, L makes the higher IQ play, which is how it goes, because they actually have said that Kira's IQ is 250, L's IQ is 300. So, L is basically has to adapt to all his moves as it goes. Which is funny, because 300 IQ does not actually exist. The highest IQ ever recorded, I believe, was like 216 or something like that. The person alive today who has the highest IQ, I think, has 192. So, it is funny when people say that. Granted, a lot of people with those like very high IQs tend to be kind of like quiet. If you see them, they're very quiet, very recluse. Which seems to make sense. I can hear the actual series coming in from your back there. Are you listening on sub? Because I can like hear it coming in.
Yeah, I'm watching it on sub.
Alright.
Are you watching it on dub? Question mark.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, I'm watching it on sub, so that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it can kind of go either way, but I'm watching it on dub, yeah. I prefer the dub for Death Note. I think both are good, but I prefer the Death Note dub. Which is the same for Code Geass. I prefer the Code Geass dub, too. It depends. Like, I definitely prefer Evangelion subbed, but the Evangelion dub is also excellent, so kind of depends.
Well, have you ever listened to the Code Geass dub?
Yeah. I prefer it to the sub.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like...
Kind of like how I prefer the High Schools DxD dub to the sub.
Uh-huh. Not like I've seen both, but I probably would prefer From all the clips I've
Gold
seen, I
DXD is better
prefer.
than that.
From all the clips I've seen, I prefer dub on sub on that too. So. Now Ryuk is just having fun, literally. He just finds it interesting. Technically, that's completely true. He just sticks around until Light dies. That's literally what happens. And Light dies, and then Ryuk just goes. Mm-hmm. He's just baked chilling. That's interesting. Creep him out. I actually forgot about this. Ooh, there you go. Yeah, this is the beginning of regular people who get killed by light. Yeah, well, I mean, it was basically established with Linda L. Taylor that if anyone is opposing Kira, then he will kill them. So this is the same case. Yeah. Funnily enough, this was around the time where stalking became like illegal. Until then, there weren't really laws against it. Kind of funny. It is good though. We have too many pedo stalkers around at this point. They need to be tamed. Justice needs to be cast on them. Cast justice on the pedos. Yeah, so here we have the natural lifespan explanation. But humans can never increase their own lifespans with this. It is actually something to debate on whether Light's death at the end is what his natural lifespan was, or whether it was some kind of other case. I know some people have actually said that they think Ryuk killed Light himself. What do you think about that? Yeah, so this is the establishment of the Shinigami eyes, which is nice. However, it has been said that Light would never get the Shinigami eyes, ever. And if that is the case, let's see. 9, 3, 31, 2, 6, 3, 9. When Light died, he was 23. He's 17 now, 6-year time skip. Dies when he's 23. So, that's interesting. Because you had 2, 3, and 6 all in there, and you had 9 there. I doubt it was meant to be, like, planned that much, but it is a thing. Have your lifespan.
Get the Shinigami eyes.
Yeah, but Light never gets that. But, you know, then they have to introduce Misa to make it interesting. I mean, it's the only point for this plot point existing. In a way, though, Misa kind of like messes up the progression of Death Note a little bit. Because she makes the odds against L, like, too OP. But he'll never accept. You can tell how that was adapted from the manga when they have split panels. People do say all the time that Naruto has way too much split panels. Alright, that's the ending there. Oh yeah, well, the stalker later is actually, like, American. So, you know, I guess there's a white guy there. Can't really tell that well. That was 3 episodes? Alright. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I have 3 left, but, I think I can just keep that, so. You wanna call it there?
Alright.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, I guess everyone just dipped.
Yep. Well, that's how it goes. And that's what used to happen to me all the time when I was but a wee lad. Everyone, I would ask to hang out and then they just wouldn't. I don't know. Hasn't happened in a while, but I guess that's what happens when you want to like hang out regularly. I guess these people are even more shy than me, which is tough to believe. But that's how it goes. I mean, you get a little bit over your introversion when you're like me and you were like doing like the map for like 7 months or something. I really like talked to like almost no one. Kind of funny. Kind of funny, but in some sense it will toughen you up. Okay, so still got the recording on. It's at 1:22, and you know, unless you got anything else to say, I think I'll just call it.
Nothing particularly other than Death Note being a good series.
I do like the L setup. The way they introduce L slowly and they characterize him with his actions that he does, I very much love. L, you are like the soul of Death Note, to be honest. That is the key of Death Note, is that conflict. Oh, man. But, yeah, that's really all I have to say. So, alright. And, you know, I'll call the recording here, so, yeah.